Hi, friend, and welcome to the Prodigal Son series. I love soccer, but though I'm a football fan, I have to admit that I'm not a soccer expert. This is because I wish to talk about football in a minute or so. Soccer fields have standardized measurements, and the further ends of the football fields are outlined with measurements which define some of the football rules that football players are expected to strictly adhere to. And the players know this very well, that flouting any of those rules by committing a foul within certain marked boundaries or areas can be costly to them and to the whole team as a whole. One of the those marked areas is the box area or the 18 yards area. And it is wrong for the goalkeeper to handle the ball with his hands outside this box. It is also wrong for the goalkeeper and his or her teammates to break football rules within this 18 yards area or the box area. Any foul committed within the 18 yards area can result into a penalty. This is the worst risk scenario for any football team. The 18 yards is a very significant area for players since the scoring odds are quite high within this box. And therefore, the goalkeeper is always alert, at times shouting and alerting those on his defense against opponents approaching the 18 yards box area. Therefore, the 18 yards area is considered a danger zone and critical in any game of soccer. I recently learned about the 18 yards danger zone through a local saying that has been going around in my region. When someone raises up red flags, then the term "I can see you from 18" is applied. For example, the term is applied as a warning to someone who shows signs of rebellion. How is this relevant to our teaching today? Well, let's proceed and read Luke chapter 15 and verse 20, the prodigal son story. Luke 15:20. So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The prodigal son was seen from afar by his dad. His dad had been anticipating his coming. He has never given up on his son's return. I believe he was always peeping through the windows, checking the emails and always checking his text messages, praying and fasting. He probably did more. By faith, the father fattened a calf. He father prepared a precious robe, a beautiful robe, and made a special ring in anticipation for his son's safe return. I believe preparation is essential for a person anticipating a miracle. You want a harvest? Prepare the barn. You want animals? Prepare the crib. Your prayers and prayer reception preparations for that loved one who is in a far country might stir up some famine and cause him to get back to his senses and return home. And you cannot fail to recognize your loved one on his way back if you've been praying and preparing for his return or her return. For while he was in his rags, wretched, poor, and emaciated, while he was, guilty and remorseful, his father still recognized him. Let me pause and ask you this question: whom are you longing to see back home? And what are you doing by faith to show that you're anticipating your loved one's return from the far country? Going to a far country doesn't mean traveling literally to a distant country. One may be literally right there with your family or with you, in your presence, yet far away. We can have a husband in a far country, a wife in a far country, a relative, a brother or a sister in a far country, yet right there living with you. We have lost our loved ones into far countries out of our innocence, our ignorance, and sometimes by taking them for granted. When the divorce papers are handed over, that your spouse is marrying your best friend and confidant, it is then that You hear someone claiming that they did not see it coming. Really? You did not see it coming? You mean you never saw how much he was into the lady? You not see the calls and the mails, the gifts and the essential gestures. How ignorant were you that you failed to see her at your 18? How ignorant were you that you failed to see him at your 18? Before your son ended up in drugs, how was his overall performance at school? Were you, who were his closest friends and confidants? What about his dressing code, his change of attitude, his language, and all the telltale signs? Did you also not see it coming? Were you not concerned when all these signs showed him at 18 years? Were you busy, engrossed in your other important activities that you never saw him at your 18? Before your daughter conceived, before he joined the gang, before he was sacked, before he was arrested, did you not see it coming? Where were you while they approached your 18? You must be willing and always on the lookout for anyone who's around your 18. The father in the story of the prodigal son should have taken serious concern when the younger son asked for his share of inheritance. He could have sensed something fishy for the fact that the son lacked nothing within the family's jurisdiction, or so to say. We have lost it many times. We have lost friends. We have lost relationships, children. And every time they give out telltale signs, we shrug off and have pretended, ignored, or taken those alerts for granted. But now that they are gone, we regret that we did not see it coming. Now that we have lost it, we mourn because we did not see it coming. Our children report home late at night. They are always withdrawn and secretive, and we assume it is okay. We never question our sons and daughters' constant absence from home. There could be other reasons worth investigating, but do not wait until they are deep in drugs and substance abuse, until they are expectant with child, sick in crime. Then our eyes open up because we did not see it coming. Don't wait until the police call you or the doctor. When our friends suddenly act in weird manners, are extravagant in their spending, always defensive. Having a sudden change in their dressing code, a language, a speech laced with an attitude. Should we take it for granted, or is it time to see them at our 18? It is the cloud that was as small as a man's fist that ended up in a storm. Before you lose the marriage, the family, the relationship, the ministry, the job, you should be keen for any sign that someone is approaching your 18. However, the good news is that as much as you failed to recognize them when they were living, in as much as you did not see it coming, you should now be alert and see them at your 18 as they show comeback signs. Don't ignore those positive text messages, those emails, those calls, those gifts. Don't ignore any signs of positive concern. That positive change in behavior, that may be your loved one at your 18, this time in a positive way. When you see your loved one at this stage, act wisely and win him back. That is exactly what the father did to the son. When he saw that the son was remorseful, he welcomed him back and celebrated with him. The father did not rebuke him, nor give him conditions, rules, laws, and commandments. No. He stretched his hands out and welcomed him back to the fold. The father had learned his part of the lesson, to never ignore signs or a loved one at 18 yards box. God bless you.